Hi friends, so today I'm going to tell you about oAuth flow, which is called as OpenID Connect. So you have done a lot of time the login with Facebook, the login with Google. How does that even work? So number one, the very first thing is if you are trying to get into any application, they need to create your account. For that, they need first thing as your identifier, which is email. So, is there a way that every time you log into a website, then you have to give email, then you have to create your password, then you forget the password and you have to fill out all those details, right? It becomes very cumbersome for users to keep entering these emails and passwords and resetting them and like stuff like that. So, there is a simple way. Instead of doing all this, what they say, if you are trying to go to a shopping website, let's say this website is necklace.com, wherein you can get a necklace, but before you go there you have to create the account. So what they do is, if you have a valid Gmail, Google account or a Facebook account, we will take your permission, we will get your identifier like your profile, for example the email and name. We will fill out the form, so you don't have to fill the form. So here is Google server, this is your necklace.com. Necklace.com goes to google.com and ask if someone has logged in, then ask for his email and other information like name. So there is a scope. This is called a scope. Whatever information you want, Google would ask, hey, the necklace.com wants you this permission. Do you agree or you deny? So if you say, yes, I agree, so Google gives back these details to app, right? Necklace.com. That way, necklace.com doesn't have to show you a form with email, first name, last name, this, that, password, nothing. It eases out the functionality. So this is what is the standard, which is called as OpenID Connect. So a lot of IDPs, which is called as identity providers, like Google, same way, Facebook, same way, Twitter, same way, lot of other companies, they becomes the IDP. So long as you have their account, whatever are the new websites and companies and games and lot of things, they would say, hey, you can log in with any one of them and we will fetch the details or the ID basically from them. So this standardized process is OpenID. So as always, I am going to show you the practical demonstration so you can learn it better. So what I am going to do here is I will be using the Auth0 School so I can explain you better, and we will look at this entire flow using the Postman and other things. So before we start, I will try to show you things and also make the diagrams. So we are trying to follow the typical PKCE flow, which is proof of key for code exchange, EXCHANGE. Please excuse my handwriting. And this is oAuth 2.0 or rather 2.1 flow. How does it work? So there is step number 1, wherein you request for example google.com. So you ask that company that, hey company, I need the scope of email for this logged in user, and then you pass a code verifier. So I'll explain you as I do this, right? So let's really do that. So I have a Postman collection ready to share. This will be our step number 1. This step number 1 is going to take some parameter, which is a get call. So what we are trying to do is, this is my oAuth server basically. So this oAuth server is going to get the code basically. Then based on the client ID, based on the state, and here I have the scope. I have mentioned that I need the profile and email. and once this is done, it will redirect it to the exampleapp.com redirect. I just for practical purpose made just a dummy file. So first we will send the code challenge as the hashed value, and then in the following request we will send the real value. So let's try to generate that. So I am generating a code basically. This is my secret code, and what I am going to do is, for the first time, I am going to calculate a hash. This becomes a code challenge. Why do we need this? I have a different video wherein I have explained it in detail, but in short, at the first request, if we will ask this server to grant us a code, and then we exchange that code to get the access token and the OpenID token, so it's not forged, it's coming to the right person who requested it at the first place. That's why this code verification and this challenge happens. So what we are doing here is that whatever the secret we had before, which is a random generated string on our end, we do hash this string and then we also encode it. So the output is this. So when we formulate the authorization request is necklace.com or whatever my website.com. I am making that example. So when I am trying to do the request to the oAuth server, once I do that request, then I am going to fill in these details, like where the redirect would happen, what's the code challenge. So here we need to substitute this code challenge. So I have created all this so that's easy for you on the Postman. So we will see there, and I have set up my application, which is here. So I went to oAuth School to set up my application, basically oAuth server, to which is Prem Asim Web. So this is my client which will talk to Google now, and then once it's talked to Google, it has the client ID, client secret, which is not visible. It's my domain, and then there are a lot of other settings for refresh token, cross origin policy. So all these settings you could do. You can go to this website. I am going to provide the URL of this, and then these exercises are very well explained and free basically. So you can create the oAuth app. You can configure a lot of things. OpenID connection, if you want to change the algorithm for the JWT, you could do that. The grant type, whatever you want to allow or deny, you can do that. So a lot of configurations which are available. So here are our endpoints. So authorization endpoint, which will be basically authorizing, and then it will give us the details. So this is our first thing. Then you have to generate the access token. You can grab the user information. This is the OpenID configuration site. So let me also show you this. So this is how the issuer, who is the issuer, this is the issuer, this is the authorization endpoint, this is the token endpoint. All those details which are in a very good way, it is mentioned here. So to get all these details, you have to go and get the configuration from OpenID. So without any further delay, let's try this on the Postman. So what I did first, let me paste the code verifier. I'll tell you how I'm going to use this later. And then the code challenge, this will be needed in a bit when we'll do the practical. So we provide the code challenge and we'll get this code basically, and then we'll give the code and we will get the token, OpenID token. So now let me go to the Postman. So this is my Postman, premasim.auth0.com. This is my domain, and this domain will redirect the type client ID. I have filled in all these details already, and I am asking for OpenID, which is OpenID, profile and email. Redirect URL is here. So at here I have to pass the code challenge. So now we got the authorization request here. So what we have here is we said that the scope should be OpenID, then we need the profile, user profile, and the email. So now we will do a login. So as soon as we do a login, the authorization server, it is trying to redirect us to Google so that we can do a login with Google. If you are already logged in, you will see this, otherwise it would ask you to log in. So once you say yeah, okay, Prem Asim, yes, this is allowed. So Google is going to return you this auth code. So you did not get any information yet. So this auth code needs to be verified, right? So this comes to our postman here. So we did this request. Now we got the auth token. So I am going to replace this token. I have to provide this token. Once I provide this token and do a send, would it work? No. Why? Because the code verifier is missing. So code verifier, what's the code verifier here? So when we did the initial request, we passed this code challenge, which was the version, like the hashed version. Now we have to pass that original value to get the OpenID value, OpenID data, right? Like the profile. So now I come here and then do a send. So now it is saying authorization code error. And why is that? Because I believe that this is the one-time use code. That is why. So what we are going to do is, let's try to generate that again. So I am here, I am redirected. Once I get redirected, I get this code. I'll copy this code. I'll go to postman again. I'll do the step number here, and I'll pass the code and send. And bingo, we got this access token, ID token. So what is access token? Which you pass each time to access any API to find more user data, like from user info endpoint. But what is ID token? So this ID token will actually provide you the email and the name and other details of the user. That's what we actually need here, right? So let's try that. So come back here. Now you will have to put the response. Once you put the response, this oAuth School says yes, this is your ID token. So ID token is nothing but this token, this long string. So this long string is kind of encoded. So what they are asking is, if you will go to base 64 decoder, you would be able to get these values decoded. So you are here, once you decode, this is the value. This is JART, which is JSON Web Token. These are the headers, this is the algorithm in which this is being decrypted. This is the key ID. Now this is the given name, which is Techie Prem Asim, which is my name here. So we'll go to the school website and we'll say this is the name. Now it asks for the email. So next thing is email. It even gives you the picture also, see, in the profile. So if you click this here, see this, that's my picture here. So this the profile information which is being shared. Now this my email here, so I am going to paste the email. This is how, imagine that there is this website which needs the user account details. So they call the OpenID and connect to Google, and once they connect, they will get all these details about the user to create the account and save the user not to fill up all these details. So now you would verify. So in backend it would do the verification, and yay, so everything worked really fine over here. So let's try to recap what we just learned over here. So we learned about the OpenID Connect. What is OpenID Connect? It is like when there is a oAuth server, authorization server, and then there is your app and there is IDP, which could be Google. In our case it was Google. So on the app, if you have to create the account, instead of asking user to fill the sign up form, what you did is you asked Google basically to provide you all the information related to user by following the OpenID. So your app goes to your OAuth server. From here it goes to Google. Google it exchanges the code and then it gets the information. This app then generates the form and it redirects back to this. So this is the small flow of how OAuth flow with OpenID works, and it gets the JAT, which is JSON Web Token, which is the encoded format, and it has claims. Each claim, like email or several other things, name, etc., you could easily read from this chart, which is returned by following the OpenID connect from the IDPs. So my name is Prem Asimjan. For more such video on cyber security, OAuth, identity, just follow my channel, hit a subscribe and leave the comment what you want to see more. Thanks a lot.